What Happened This Week podcast. Just two best friends chatting in the trailer about all the things you are thinking about. Because you never know with Kim and Tricia.
Hey guys, coming at you virtually again this week. We're both still social distancing. How's it going, Kim?
It's doing good. It's doing good. How about you? Are you, did you have our baby yet? Did I say our baby?
Yeah, I have not had our baby yet, but I am under the advice of my high-risk specialist, because I'm a high-risk patient. I am to be staying at home. So.
Well, so your due date was June, was it 17th?
19th.
19th, okay. So have they moved up your due date yet?
No, they haven't done anything like that, but I went Monday for ultrasound and see the high-risk specialist, but I go again this Tuesday to see my OB. So we'll see what she says, and I think I'm seeing a man this time. I have no idea. They're always like, who's your doctor? I'm like, I don't know. Every time I come here, I see somebody else. Like, I don't know, like anybody? Anyway, but
like, who's your daddy?
Yeah, like, I don't, like, whatever. I was like, I don't know. Whoever shows up on the day to deliver the baby, I guess. Who cares?
Oh my God, that's funny. That's funny. Well, that's well, that's good though. At least they have you on the schedule. At least they know, or like I say, at least they know. At least you have someone to go see. That's important, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I love I like the whole practice. They're all great. So that I just but yes, I go back Tuesday. He was measuring 5 pounds last Monday, so he's probably like 7 pounds now.
See, so how does that happen? Like, do they grow like at like a pound a week?
No, I think they'll do like half a pound.
Depends on what you're eating.
Trying to find research. Well, she told me I couldn't gain any more weight.
Damn her! What does she know?
Listen, I gained 32 pounds. Okay,
that's pretty good.
Pounds. That's what I thought. I gained 26 pounds when I was pregnant with Gavin, and he was a 6-pound baby, right? And I was young. I was like 26, you know? I gained 40 pounds with Reagan, and she was a 7-pound baby. Well, this baby is on track to be like 10 pounds, and I've only gained 32. Like, I thought I was okay.
Okay. Listen, I think there's something wrong with their math. So I'm going to bring you some Swiss cake rolls just because I love you so much. There's nothing wrong with that. That's wild.
It's definitely all belly. She said I had like a lot of amniotic fluid because the baby's breached right now. So she did say that if my water breaks or I have contractions, that I need to go immediately because the baby is breached. But she said I do have a lot of fluid, so even though he's large, hopefully there's enough fluid that he can turn himself around.
Well, he better turn it around, or Aunt Kimmy's got to come in there and show him what's going on with the footwell, or I'll show him how to turn it around real quick.
Exactly. Well,
so I've had a crazy week. Coming into this week, actually, you know, it's been we had sold our house, and then the buyers had backed out. So then we sold our house again, and so I'm homeless. I thought I was homeless once. Now I'm homeless twice.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've actually had a few Trulies. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to throw that out there in case I seem like I'm slurring my words.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to keep it together for the most part. But yeah, definitely we've, coming back from last week, we had put our house in the market, and then we've had, oh my goodness, like 12 or 13, 14, I don't even remember showings we've had.
Yeah.
Shannon's done a phenomenal job. I could imagine being a real estate agent because she is like working like day and night and day. The offers that come to the table and everything that comes to be, she definitely is a workhorse. And so kudos to Shannon for doing what she does. And now I see why people do not want to do the for sale by owner, because there's a lot of legwork involved with that process.
Right.
So, we definitely, so now we have an offer. Today's Sunday, May 3rd. My birthday is on May 7th. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Woo, be 41. I can't wait.
Keep checking your mailbox.
I'll keep checking my mailbox. I have a mailbox right now, but I actually had to. Funny you say mailbox, because when the initial deal had come to be, we got an email from the title company and said, when we need to forward you the closing documents, could you please give us a forwarding address? And I realized I don't have a forwarding address. I don't have a place to live. So I immediately jumped up and went and got a P.O. box from the post office. So
That's
guess
good.
what? I'm important. I have a street address and a P.O. box, just so you know.
Yep.
So I will eventually be forwarding my emails, or my mail to my PO box. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. At least I'm looking forward to some mail.
Yes.
But it's been a kind of a whirlwind because we've been looking at houses. And so today we went and looked at a house. It's like the perfect place ever. There's some things that we're going to work out and just see what's going to happen. So I may or may not have a new home, but we'll see. And we accepted an offer for the second time on a home, and we had a backup offer. So, which is great, right? So it's selling, which is awesome. But I feel like I'm going through these moments in my life to where like I'm packing my house up. I'm actually looking at boxes in my office right now because I'm like packing my life. And I just realized that James is such a freaking pack rat.
Wait till you do your garage.
I can't even imagine. I don't even want to go there yet.
Yeah, when we packed like our house, like it was like I was really good at like one room at a time, and so it was like I like packed up the nursery first because Reagan was still sleeping in our room, and then I'd clean it and close the door, like we're done, no one goes in there again. And then I did Gavin's room, and so then Gavin's like sleeping on the couch, cleaned it, closed the door, and then last was like our room. And there was all like this little stuff. I mean, thank the Lord for Jason's mom. Like she came over and just finished it for me because I had to go back to work. I was working again, and so I packed up a lot of maternity leave. And I mean, I had packed up like the kitchen, like the big stuff, but you still have to live, and and there were so many like odds and ends that I didn't know what to do with them. And then the garage, I was like, I just can't. And so Jason had to do that.
So James and I have a pack. So he's responsible for the garage and the attic. Mm-hmm. So I got him some pretty good sturdy totes that he can pack up all that stuff in. But what I've kind of determined is that per room, I'm going to have an open box, which means that it doesn't get packed away, that it's just going to be open. And therefore, anything that goes in that box, we may need access to it fairly soon so it doesn't get sealed with the tape.
Right.
So James was making fun of me yesterday because we had the 4 showings, like I'd mentioned earlier, and I went dumpster diving, and he was going to take a video of me going in the dumpsters. Girl, I'm going to tell you what, I found Box Mountain. Now I thought I found Box Mountain.
Oh,
I saw it from the roadway. I'm like, stop the truck. I found Box Mountain. It was like one of those dumpsters that you see, like people are cleaning out their homes, like they rent them. And so we went back, and it wasn't Box Mountain. It just was a box on the top of a trash pile mountain. But yeah, so we ended up going to like Office Depot and getting boxes, and now I am storing boxes. We went to Walmart today. Wore a mask to Walmart. That was a freaking hot mess. And so now it's like we're in phase 1 still, like selling the house, boxing up the house, and we just got to get through this. But it's like, geez, I go through the house and I'm like, where'd all this crap come from? Yeah. Like, where does this, I mean, I know it's 9 years worth of James's life and 6 years of my life in here, but I'm like, oh my gosh, like, why do I need this? Why did I keep this? I don't know, but I'm still keeping it. Well, we're going to have a huge yard sale. And I can't wait to have this yard sale and sell all this random stuff. But we went to the liquor store yesterday, and so we went and got some boxes, which is kind of cool. So they're not as big as I thought. So then today, when we had the offer on the house, I was like, you know what? I'm going to be super smart about this, and I'm going to go buy the boxes in bulk. Girl, I almost paid $250 to have a pallet of boxes delivered here. I told James, there's no way. I ain't doing it. I ain't pulling the trigger. Not doing it. So needless to say, a lot of stuff's going to be sold. I already gave away a few things to the neighbor today. So I just have to make sure that I end that on a good note. So we'll see, because next week, who knows, but this is the game that you play when it goes to selling your house. So shout out to Shannon to doing a great job and doing what she needs to do to have the house sell. So we're doing good. So how about you? Your week's going good?
Yeah. I mean, just working, and that's probably about it. Nothing crazy. Only outing like from the house was we had ordered all the tile for 2 of our bathrooms from Lowe's, and we had to get it in Lake Park. So I I rode in the car with Jason, and then he went and got it and loaded it all up, and we came home. So that was about it.
That's exciting. Very exciting.
Yeah, no, it is. It's exciting. It's overwhelming, but it's all, great time. So can't wait to get it going. So
what's funny is I have to tell you though. So from last week's episode, James, he's such a good fan. Yeah. He texted me and he said, "Honey, I'll be your friend." I'm like, "Thanks, honey." He was like, "You got really deep in that conversation." And it was funny because Jason had commented on the Facebook post too. So shout out to Jason. Thanks, guys, so much. We appreciate you guys. Because sometimes things get a little deep, and it was kind of nice to be that guy for a while,
Jason's like, "Who is she talking about?" I was like, "I didn't know who she was talking about." I was like, "I got to ask her later on." So
did I have a cocktail then? Who knows? Because I'm a few cocktails in. So the funny thing is, one of the conversations we've talked about, it was talking about obituaries, right? And talking about funny obituaries, things that we have seen, things that we have heard. I've always thought to myself, my biggest thing is going off of our friend conversation last week is that, you see people that have passed away, and it's unfortunate. And we're not making fun of this by no means. Let me just say that, right? We're just having conversations about funny obituaries and things that we have seen or heard or read. But I have to start with my idea of what my funeral will look like. And I'm setting the stage, okay? Making notes. All right. I want bagpipes.
You do? Okay.
Yeah. I know it's not really like traditional, but I want bagpipes. I want to be cremated.
It is traditional, but I wouldn't have I'm not for you. I wouldn't have thought it'd be traditional, but we'll go with that. Bagpipes.
Well, I think bagpipes.
Number 2, cremated. Gotcha.
Right. Well, I think bagpipes are more for people of service. Bagpipes are pretty cool, right?
Yeah, you can do whatever you. Hey, this is your list. I mean, if we don't follow it, I don't know what you're going to be mad at us, but
I think I'm Irish, so I just like to go with that.
Okay. All right. Number 3.
Number 3, do not let anyone in my funeral who was not my friend beforehand. Okay?
All right, hold on. What if someone's two-faced? If I tell them, back it up, get out of here
They gotta go. Don't show face now. If you didn't like me then, no fake friends. You make it. I feel like I can see your pencil writing. I can feel it.
I'm writing it down because at the end of this, if you ask me, I gotta have it written down. So yep, no fake friends. Got it.
Bagpipes, cremated, and no fake friends.
No fake friends. Mm-hmm.
Do not let them in if they thought they were my friend. Oh, we have a memory. We don't have a memory. We do not have a memory. You thought I might have been a memory. We don't have a memory then. We don't have a memory now. I don't like that. I just want people who are very genuine. And that's okay. If there's only 3 of them in the room, that's okay too, right?
Well, I mean, we might have to at some point sit down and make a list.
We're going to have to make a good list, right?
Yeah, I mean, at least a list of I need a no entrance list.
Oh, okay. It's going to be very long. So get right.
Yeah. We'll do like a Google spreadsheet and that way, and we'll share it. That way, if it changes, you can edit it up until that time of your passing.
That's right, because things are very fluidly changing, right? So you never know.
And then I'll just get a bouncer and be like, "Is your name on the list?"
And the sad thing is, I'm friendly with everyone. So if you don't make the list, then that's just on you because you were not nice to me one day, one night. Otherwise, I got over it real quick.
Exactly.
So, I think about people that have passed away. I mean, in a lifetime, right? We've had acquaintances, or I don't think that we've had anyone, at least in my opinion, I don't think we've had anyone that's passed away very, very close to us. In my family life, I haven't had to endure too many funerals. I've had 1 or 2 funerals. Probably the most recent, which is probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, my grandfather passed away when I was in high school. My grandmother passed away. Aunt Tammy passed away. But our family, we didn't do funerals. I would say most recently, Jason's aunt just passed away, and we went to the funeral. And I had never met her. Jason's dad there were a lot of kids in his family, and so him being one of the younger ones, and she was one of the older ones, she was out of the house by the time he was at that age, to know who she was. I have such a hard time in general with other people crying. Like, I am a very emotional creature, and so, I mean, just to watch somebody else hurt, it makes me so upset. Like, I'm instantaneous. Like, if you cry, I will cry. Like, I am the worst support system in the world because I will just cry. If, you know, we brought Reagan, and I brought her outside, and so Jason could enjoy, but it was really just a remembrance of her. So they had some stories, and Jason was came out of it, you know, just saying that it was just nice to hear things that he didn't know about her, you know. But and then before that was, you know, my friend Stefan, who married us. His father passed away just a couple months after our wedding, and his mom and dad had come down for the wedding. He did the eulogy for his dad, and his sisters were up there with him. And it was just, I mean, I obviously knew Stefan's parents, knew them well enough that they both, you know, they came down to our wedding from Long Island. But to see somebody I loved so much and Stefan hurting so much, and, you know, it was just, that was heartbreaking, you know, like just knowing that. But for myself, I want people to remember me, and please tell like funny, good stories of play part of the podcast, whatever. I don't care, you know. I want it to be, if people are sad, I hope that they have each other outside of just my service, you know, and that my service would be something that was more of a good remembrance. So.
Yes, of course. And don't worry, I will fill the room full of love and tell them all the good times. Maybe some of the bad times. Not that there's any bad times. Just saying all the risque times that we've had.
Yeah.
Not that there's any of those either. But just
do
make
you
what?
Our single days. In our
my
single
goodness.
days, our rules. Our rule if something happened to one of us.
Remind me. I'm 4 Trulies in. I think I said 10. I'm 4.
If there's something happened to me that you were gonna scale the wall to get in my neighborhood and break into my house to go into my secret drawer.
Yes, I was.
Make sure you got rid of anything before my mom had to clean out my house.
So your mom didn't find your. Yes, I do. And I still, I mean, we're like in a different frame in our lifetime right now. Yeah. So I don't know if you still have those, but I still have one. So if I'll offline, I'll tell you where it's at so you can locate that for me before they have to come clean the house out. Because God knows I wouldn't want my mom to find that or nothing. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. But it's so crazy that people that are, you know, they get very into, I think it's more of an older school thing with the funerals. I think as things have evolved, I think that people are a little bit less strict on what's involved with a funeral. And that I think now you see more of a celebration of life, right?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, for the most part, I think so. And I think that, you know, I always find it crazy too is that, so like I said, I wasn't, you know, we hadn't had a chance where I got to meet Jason's aunt before she passed away. And at this funeral, like I met other aunts of his that I had never met before. And I was like, man, it's so crazy is that this, like, obviously brought so many people together. It's just too bad all these people didn't come together before she passed away.
Well, that's usually how it goes, right? Because they say that people come together for birth, weddings, and funerals. So that's typically where family comes out of the woodwork, and that's just kind of how it goes. So it's unfortunate, but that's just kind of what brings families together. So as we were talking about doing this show for, you know, obituaries and death, which is kind of morbid at the same time.
It's very morbid. I'm like sitting there trying to look them up, and luckily, like, mine are pretty funny. And they were like, most of the ones that I came up with were like inappropriately, purposefully inappropriate. I do have one that is probably my favorite that, like, I cannot wait to read it. But
all right, you got to tell me. I wonder if we have the same one. So so throw me your first favorite.
Okay, so I titled each one with like a title as to like what they are. So this one I call Mommy Dearest. So this woman, her name is Kathleen. She was born on March 19th, 1938 to Joseph and Gertrude. She married Dennis at St. Anne's in 1957, and they had 2 children, Gina and Jay. So in 1962, which is 5 years after she married her husband, she became pregnant by her husband's brother Lyle, and she moved to California. She abandoned her children, and her children were then raised by her parents.
What?
Yes! She passed away May 31st, 2018 in Springfield, and will now face judgment. She will not be missed by Gina and Jay, her children, and they understand that this world is a better place without her.
Oh my God. Who do you think wrote that? It had to be her kids.
Oh my God. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, yeah. So yes, that was probably like, this one was not like, the other one were like tongue in cheek, like the ones that I came up with. But this one was like straight up, Mommy Dear sucks.
I saw that one and I thought, my first thought was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Like this had to have been the kids that were writing this obituary.
Oh, yeah.
And that was so ruthless. At the same time, it's very heartfelt, I guess, is how they felt. But who would have thought, did you think she thought that that's what her kids or anyone would have write about her?
Well,
Holy
after
moly.
all these years, she left her kids in 1962 and she didn't pass away until 2018. And I had some questions, but there were no answers, obviously. But like, they're raised by their grandparents, their mother's parents. So where happened to their dad?
Right.
Okay. And so when her mom went on and had a baby with their uncle, they now have a brother, sister, cousin all wrapped up in one. Like, what happened to that whole family? They just left them? The whole family left them.
Well, I'm sure there's some intermingling going on, so they're somehow related or something's going on there. So they had to keep in touch with each other.
I don't know. I mean, like, they're poor kids. No wonder they upset. I mean, God, I read that. I was like, oh my gosh, could you imagine? Like, could you imagine like somebody like airing your dirty laundry, like in your obituary? Woo, you have to have been, yeah.
Enough to have it on Google too, so we can find it. Like that's pretty awful.
And it was a picture of like the newspaper clipping.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Hashtag not cool. I found this one that was quite comical. I'll have to say my favorite for last. So this one, I'm going to give you a little footnotes of it because it gets pretty lengthy, but it says that Thomas passed away in his client recliner as he had threatened to for many years. He was a kid from Brooklyn. He grew up to love the American dream, marriage, career, house in the suburbs, and 2 pain-in-the-ass kids. He was a DIYer with no less than 5 unfinished projects at a time. He worked in technology for over 20 years, and he never missed the opportunity to make an inappropriate joke. Mm-hmm. His passion included comic books, playing the lotto, and making his children uncomfortable. And he also loved cheese. Mm-hmm. Like, really? That's awesome. His love
cheese. Mm-hmm.
Dude, I love cheese. I mean, I'm lactose intolerant, but I love some cheese. His love of Doctor Who was only surpassed by his love for not wearing pants at home. He's often combined by these 2 interests. Like, really? Like, listen, can I just tell you this? When I pass from this world, just make it fun.
Do you like to wear pants at home?
Depends. It depends because I feel free when I don't wear pants, and then I kind of feel a little frisky when I'm walking by the window when the blinds are open. I'm just like, this is what's going on. Party in my pants or not.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
All right, so show me the next one you got.
I got this one was the short. I got a couple short ones that were because I had a couple lengthy ones. All right, I call this Death by Superhero. He's in Winter Haven. And his name is Steven. He was 31. He passed away February 12th, 2015, due to an uppercut from Batman.
Ah! That's awesome. That's the way to go. That's like, exactly.
Yeah, his friends or his family were just like, you know what? Let's do this. It's awesome. Mm-hmm.
He must have been a big Marvel fan too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
He had to have been. So I've got one that's like, so this guy, Freddie.
Oh, Freddie.
Oh, good old Freddie.
Mm-hmm.
He was a Georgia man. He adored the ladies, but he hated vegetables. He died on September 11th. Holy moly.
Yikes.
Yeah, right? In 2013. Mm-hmm. Freddie was killed when he rushed into a burning orphanage to save a group of adorable children. Or maybe not. As we all know, he likes to tell stories. So he's a storyteller. So what they're saying is that there isn't enough space here to list all of the women from Fred's past.
Nice.
He's attracted more to women than there is a shoe sale at Macy's. It goes on to say that Freddie's love of deep fried, smothered in cane syrup, fished at Cooper's Lake, and guess what he loved the most? Little Debbie cakes.
Oh boy, is he related to me? He's at Cooper's Lake.
He might be. He could be. And he loved 2.5 men. He loved beautiful women, Reese cups, and Jim Beam, but not necessarily in that order.
Gotcha.
I think I might want to hang out with Freddie. He seems like a good old time.
It was a good time.
Good time. So what's the next one you got?
All right, I call this one X-rated services.
Ah!
Okay, so Mike was preceded in death by his parents, survived by his sons, and his former wife. Now, this caught me off guard because I didn't know your obituary would put your former spouses in there. I was like, interesting. Like, when you pass away, Kim, do we put, so you're survived by your former husband? Like,
I feel like, can I just say this might be something from the South? Because I feel like that's what they do. And we're from the South. Not that that's normal by no means, but I feel like, I guess it depends. How long were they married? Does it say?
No, it doesn't say. It just says his former wife.
Okay. He's kind of loyal.
Okay. Yep. His brother, his Uncle Dan, his Aunt Cynthia, which in parentheses was his favorite.
Okay.
His Uncle Dill, his Aunt Dot, cousins and nephews. Bubba Vega can kiss his butt.
Okay, Bubba Vega. I love it.
Kiss his butt. So many of his childhood friends that weren't killed in Vietnam went on to become criminals, prostitutes, and or Democrats.
Okay.
So that in the same category of criminals.
Sounds like a great bunch.
Yes. He also asked that you stop by and retell the stories he could no longer tell. As a celebration will contain adult material, we respectfully ask that no children under 18 attend.
Yikes.
That's why I called it X-rated services. But yes, so Bubba Vega, you can kiss his butt. And anyone who wasn't killed in Nam that were his childhood friends, you guys are apparently low on the totem pole in his life.
He's serious. He doesn't play around.
No, he didn't play around. They definitely put it all out there.
So I have to love someone who writes their own obituary. Because
I did see a few of those. Yeah,
did you see those? I'm going to write my own.
Yeah, you're a planner. I don't have to worry about it.
But you know that. And I'm going to put it in a Google Doc so it can be ever changing and it's very fluid, just like COVID-19, right? So as things change and as things open up in Florida, my obituary might change on who I'm going to appreciate or not appreciate.
Yeah, along with your friend list.
Along with my friend list, because it may change. Exactly. I'm pretty fluid when it comes to the friendships. This one right here, I feel like she is my angel or my spirit animal. No, because she's definitely an angel. Her name is Jane. I think Jane and I could be totally best friends, or I feel like Jane and I would be hanging out alongside of you at the nursing home.
All right.
So this is one of my favorites. So Jane, first of all, she's from Indiana. She was a native of Boston, Massachusetts, and she passed away in 2018. Her sudden death, and I'm going to read this because I'm feeling very emotional because I feel like Jane and I have made a connection, even though we haven't met. Her death came quite to a shock because she was diagnosed with advanced COPD. She had emphysema. She had advanced heart disease, cystic fibrosis, I'm not I can't even say it right, chronic bronchitis, stroke, extreme stubbornness, restless leg syndrome. She was survived by her 4 sons, and they go on to list them. She loved all of her 4 sons and her 8 grandchildren. She loved them more than anything except 4. You ready? She loved the Patriots more than her kids and her grandkids. She loved the Patriots more. She loved the Boston Red Sox more. She loved Tom Brady more. She loved cold Budweiser more. She loved room temperature Budweiser. She loved cigarettes. She loved dogs, moped, clam chowder, boating, fishing, Florida, the Atlantic Ocean, grouper sandwiches, adventures, road trips, the beach, Sunday night football, Monday night football, fall, airplane food, ingrown toenails. She loved the OJ chase and the OJ trial, all in that order.
More than her kids and grandkids?
Absolutely. This is insane. I love her. She's my spirit animal. She actually graduated. I know. She graduated from the University of Everson. Okay. She had her degree of English literature. It says it's still unclear because she had 4 sons. It's still unclear who her favorite son is. The final ruling will be determined in court or at the bar. She will be missed dearly by all those who love her. She was an incredible woman. She had a zest for life. She had multiple times where she would have, this is what I see. I have no fear. She taught everyone everyone should have beyond do not enter signs in their home. She always put her children first. She was very selflessness and was always beyond approachable. She lives in our hearts. Here's the best part. Following her wishes, there will be no funeral service. However, everyone is encouraged to write a note of farewell on a Budweiser can, drink it in her honor, and remember the life of the fullest. That's how I want to go.
Can we do a McUltra?
I think Truly or McUltra, or maybe Tito's, like in that order. You know, I mean, everybody has a flavor. I'm not going to judge, and whatever that may be, they could put it in a vault too. If you want to put it in like a time capsule, I'm okay with that too. It was pretty long and lengthy, but I feel like me and Jane could hang out sometime.
I think so too, but I do think you love your daughter more than you love airplane food, so there might be a little disconnect there.
I would agree with that. I haven't been on the airplane that often enough to love my daughter but I agree with that, yes. All right, what's the next one you got?
All right, got a hoarder of 4-letter words is what I'm calling this one.
Ooh, okay.
So Pat passed away peacefully at her home in bed July 1st, 2015. It is believed that it was caused from her carrying her oxygen tank up the long flight of stairs to her bedroom that made her heart give out. She left behind a hell of a lot of stuff to her daughter and sons who have no idea what to do with it. So, if you're looking for 2 extremely large TVs from the 90s, a large ceramic stork, we think, umbrella cane stand, a toaster oven, or even a 2001 Oldsmobile with a spoiler. Now, she loved to put the pedal to the metal with only 44,000 miles and 1,000 tools that we aren't sure what they're used for. You should wait the appropriate amount of time to get in touch. Tomorrow would be fine.
Oh my God. 44,000 miles?
On her 2001 Oldsmobile with a spoiler.
And what year did she die?
2015.
Holy mackerel. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I think it's not to be in tip-top shape, right?
Seriously, like I think the warranty gun ran out and they're kind of like, really? You're bringing this in now? It's only been 15 years and it hasn't been serviced yet?
She's 94, so she didn't drive much. So, all right. So then it says on to say, this is not an ad for a pawn shop, but an obituary for a great woman, mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother. She leaves behind a very dysfunctional family that she was very proud of. Pat was world-renowned for her lack of patience and not holding back her opinion and a knack for telling it like it is. Her extensive vocab was more than highly proficient at knowing more curse words than most people learned in a lifetime. She liked 4-letter words more than her rock garden, and trust us, she loved her rock garden. And to have us weed it when child labor was legal, or so we were told. She must have told her kids when they were little that there was child labor, they had to help her. So it will be a private family celebration of life in lieu of the service due to the fact that her friends not being able to attend because they decided to beat her to the pearly gates.
Yikes.
Yes.
That's pretty kind of scary.
It was so funny. I was telling Jason's mom about it today. She's like, that sounds like me. Not the swearing.
No,
hold on.
Doesn't.
Not the swearing, but the stuff.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I can't imagine though, because what's funny is I have to tell you a side story. So I was 19 years old, and I had a job, and I was, I've had many jobs. And one of the things that I did was I was a delivery for a floral designer, flower shop. So one of the things that we had to do was we had to deliver the flowers to a funeral. You had to do the wreath, you had to do the basket of flowers. And one of the things that I had to deliver was a boutonniere. And it was a boutonniere, which I just kind of thought maybe that was for the priest that was going to do the eulogy or the funeral. I never had been to a funeral at that point, so I wasn't really quite sure what I was doing, but I just assumed that's what it was. Otherwise, most people would think this is a boutonniere for like a prom or a wedding. So I delivered all the flowers, and they said, okay, go ahead and put the flower where the casket's at. What do you mean? She's like, well, the casket's in there. Go ahead and put the flower between his hands. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, the dead man that's in the casket, you have to put the flower between his hands.
Well, you're like, that's your job. I just deliver.
I will never forget this as long as I live. It was the weirdest experience I've ever had. And you know what? The weirdest stuff happens to me and only to me, right? She said, don't worry, the casket's open. Just, his hands. I mean, this is probably within 2 hours prior to the funeral. So it was fairly it was going to happen. So she said, just put the little boutonniere between his hands because his hands were in a praying position and just stick it in between his hands. It was the most creepiest thing I've ever had in my entire life. Unfortunately, he wasn't as stiff as most people would think with a corpse. You would think they were standing attention. And I'm like, does anybody have any hairspray so I can spray this thing straight? Because whenever I would put it down, it wouldn't sit up straight. So eventually I got it sit up straight. And I just sat there and thought to myself, how in the heyday did I get myself in this situation? Why am I putting a rose between a dead man's fingers? I just thought to myself.
Well, that's so crazy to me that that's what they would do. I mean, considering you have corsages and boutonnieres for proms and stuff, you certainly don't put them on the girls and the boys. You just deliver them.
Well, they just thought nothing of it. They just, I guess it was a formality for them and just hey, yeah, go over there and take care of the dead. Really? I am a kid. I have never had to experience this my entire life. Are you kidding me? So I will never forget that. It was as long as I live. It was the creepiest thing and I had never had to experience anything. So it was really weird. This is Jim Adams.
Okay.
He was born in 1955. Sadly, he was deprived of his final wish. He really had wished that he had been ran over. Now, this is another one of my spirit animals. I feel like Jim and I could be related somehow, somewhere. He may be my cousin. I don't even know. His wish was to be ran over by a beer truck on his way to the liquor store to buy booze for a date. That was his final wish. Due to his personality, he spent his final hours joking with his medical personnel, cussing and begging for narcotics, and begging with God to look over his loving dog, Biscuit, and his family. I know, right? And I know Biscuit. I'm sure Biscuit's pretty good.
Okay.
In lieu of flowers, he has asked to make a sizable purchase to your favorite watering hole and get rip-roaring drunk and tell all the stories that he cannot any longer. That's my hero right there. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Right, so if I'm going to pass away, and I'm going to have, because it's all inevitable, right? We're all going to pass away. We're all going to die.
Right.
It's unfortunate, as morbid as it may sound. I don't want to have some sob story. And I don't want people to come to the pulpit and talk about coulda, shoulda, woulda, woulda. Just be real, right? And talk about the times that, that we had a good time at, and just make up stories. I'm going to be cremated. I want to be somewhere, belong, I don't know, wherever you're gonna put me. Just put me somewhere. What are your hopes and where you're gonna be buried at?
I think I'm gonna be cremated. I honestly, whatever my husband and my children want. I mean, if I go before my husband, whatever he wants, or talk to our children what they want. I mean, ultimately, what's left behind is left behind for my family. So if they want me to be cremated and put you can put your ashes I think you need to put the ashes somewhere, because here's crazy enough is my grandmother passed away and we had her cremated, and we had a little we had a family picnic, and they're like, oh, what are we gonna do? And I was like, listen, I'll take Graham with me. I just couldn't have the thought of her just whatever, not having a final place, Yeah. And so my grandmother at this point is in storage, but
what?
Yes, I mean, where am I gonna put her? But if I house, I had the box that she came in was, was nice enough, but I had these rattan boxes. I had 2 of them. I think it came a gift set from the Body Shop. And anyway, so I put Graham in one, and then when Brody passed away, we had him cremated, my dog. I put his ashes on in another one and put it on top. And so my mom always joked that they're in heaven and Brody's sitting on Graham's lap, Oh,
that's perfect. I love that.
Yeah, it's cute. My grandmother, she would hate to be hot. So luckily my storage unit is air conditioning. Okay. But ultimately I feel it's a very big responsibility when you are the keeper of these things. And I feel like it's a responsibility that I should not be passing down, say, to Gavin for the next person. So at some point we are going to go put her where they call them, like a mausoleum or something, like, and have her ashes like buried there. So so there is a place for everybody in my family to go, except not like a barbecue at my house. You know, hey, Graham, how's it going?
Hey. Well, I told Taylor she has to wear a me around her neck. I told her, I'm like, you have to get a pendant. You have to put my ashes on your neck. Half of them go to James and half of them go to Taylor, and I expect them to wear them. And if they don't, I'm going to come back and haunt them. So
you want them to wear half of them? Hold on. It's like, you understand how, like, this box is not like.
I mean, it's pretty full, right?
Yes, it's heavy. Like, I don't see that poor Taylor gonna have like what's that rapper with the necklaces? Like, walking
like 50 Cent. I'm pretty heavy now.
She's gonna be like Mr. P walking around with this like freaking thing full of your ashes. Like, no.
So I'll be like, so you could do half of me, right? So instead of like, because I'm like, on a good day, if I've had really good food, I'm about 3. No, not 3. Not yet there. I hope not. I hope I'm like probably 221. So on a good day, that would be like James having to wear 100 pounds on his neck and Taylor wearing 100 pounds on their neck. When you burn it down, it's like 20 and 20. Yeah, you're right. I should rethink that. Maybe they could put like maybe like it could be like a salt and pepper shaker, like that.
No, I did see one time where you can take, like, I'm pretty sure I saw this or I dreamt it. You can take ashes and they can like compress it and make like a stone from it.
Okay.
So you could totally set that up ahead of time and pay for the service, and then Taylor could send it away and then get her stone, her ring or a pendant or something, and not your actual ashes.
What about her wedding ring? Would that be really creepy? Like, listen, I could tell her.
Creepy.
I'd be like, listen, I gotta have a conversation with your boo. So listen, if I die, this is what you have to do. You have to redo this and this stone. But I told her, I'm like, you have to wear either my blood. That's what I told her, around her neck. I just want to be remembered. I just want to be in the present. I just want to be there in what's going on. So James and her always make fun of to say that, oops, we dropped mom, and they're gonna put me in like some vase, like, and not even like a cool vase, like a really cheap vase. I'm like, you better put me in a Pottery Barn vase. Don't put me in some cheap old Walmart vase.
No.
At least I'm present.
What they're going to do is they're going to respect the Kim that they love and that they knew, and they're going to go to a yard sale and buy a vase because that is what you would do.
Oh my God.
That's what you're going in.
That's exactly it. Heck yes. Put me in a yard sale vase all day. I would appreciate that more than being put in a Pottery Barn vase that it was just going to show face, because you know what's going to happen? It's going to end up at the yard sale anyways. So why not just buy me at the market?
You're going to end up in somebody else's house.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that like ghosts. I definitely believe in like spirits and like I'm sure a lot of my like religious people may like be like, no, could never happen. But I definitely believe in spirits. I think they surround us.
I don't know yet. I will have to tell you something funny though, is that I was babysitting a kid when I was probably 12, 13 years old. And we had the Ouija board, which is, I know, really bad. Oh, everybody's like sighing, like Ouija boards are bad. I don't believe in them. I grew up in not believing in them. Religious background says don't believe in them, and I don't believe in them. Right. But, I'm 13 years old. I'm babysitting this little like 6-year-old little tweeb who was like a little heathen. So I said, oh, it's cool. Let's bring out the Ouija board. He actually said, he's like, can we ask it questions? I'm like, absolutely. And they have like numbers and like ABC, like it's all, right. But it has a yes or a no on it. And he was like, should we ask it questions? I'm like, absolutely. He was like, you go first. I'm like, okay. Are you a brat? And I made that thing go to yes.
Of course you did.
And the kid was like, oh my God, it spoke, done. So I don't necessarily believe in ghosts, but I mean, I think that there are some people that believe in ghosts. I don't know. I've never experienced that. So until I do, maybe I will. I don't know. I think there's like a very fine line of going into that outer bank. I don't know if it's called outer bank. It's probably not the right term. What is that called?
The realm or whatever. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't believe in like, I don't think necessarily a ghost like sitting next to me. I just mean like spirits in general. Like I talk a lot. Like I used to clean my house, and my grandmother used to sit like in the entertainment center. You didn't even know she was there. She's in
What?
the entertainment, yeah, sitting in like on a shelf in the entertainment center in this box, and nobody ever knew she was there. But I dust like when I cleaned, and I talked to her. Hey, Grandma, how's it going?
Okay, so quick question. So if I'm sitting on your entertainment center, and I would hope in some type of like I don't know, not in the box, because like I had to spread my ashes very thin apparently, because I have to give you some to James, some to Taylor, some to my dogs, because I want them to wear them around their neck on their collar. But if you were to talk to me in an afterlife, what would you say?
I mean, it'd probably be pretty similar to the conversations we have now. I mean, obviously you could not respond to me, but I probably like, because at this point in the game, like when I tell you something or I'm talking to you about something, I kind of already know your responses and even your advice. So I think I would just be like, girl, or probably gossip. Gossip would probably be number one. Girl,
can I promise you something?
Yeah.
I'll keep your secrets to the grave.
Yes, exactly. It would be the easiest. Yes, that was it. I would definitely, gossip would probably be number one, because that would be like, oh my God, I had to tell you what so-and-so did, girl.
I'll talk back. I'll talk back. If it's really good enough, I'll talk back. I promise.
Exactly. We'll decide. Like, you got my sign. Like, I'll hear like a distant fart, and I'll know that you're there.
There has to be a sign. We have to come up with a sign and be like, "Caca, caca."
Yeah, exactly.
That was Kim. Like off in the distance, I see the pelican. That was Kim. That was right there.
Exactly.
Oh, you got one more?
Yeah, this one was funny. I call this one short and sweet. Steve died.
I saw that one. Really?
Like, okay.
That would suck.
I mean, it had his last name. I didn't put his last name down, but yeah, so it said Steve whatever died.
I saw that one too. Like, really?
It was a picture of him. Like, it was a newspaper clipping again.
I saw that.
It was a picture of him and said Steve whatever died. I was like, okay, Steve's dead.
Like, that leaves so much to the imagination. Like, in one respect, like, totally do that for me. In one respect, because I want people to be like, and she just dropped the microphone. Done.
Yeah, like, I bet this Steve guy was super sarcastic, and that was like his thing. Like, what do you want your obituary to say? I died. Like,
yeah,
like that I'm dead.
If you could write your own obituary, would you write it?
No, I don't know. I guess it's to be something that how other people remember me, right? I don't know. I think that like. I think I should. Whoever's going to eulogize me, I'd prefer y'all send me what you're going to say now.
True.
I mean, I'm already dead.
I feel like there's that one song that's in my head because I've been watching a lot of TikTok. There's one song, probably a little curse words, but I don't give a f about you, so don't give a f about me. That one song, like I would hope that there is some type of. I don't want to say that I want to contribute. No, I totally want to contribute to what's going to be said. And there's going to be a couple people you're going to have to call out. Are you okay with that? Get on the microphone?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't care. I mean, these are Kim's words.
Okay. I just want to say these are Kim's words, and then you say it. Oh, my God.
Exactly.
This would be awesome. That'd be a good time.
Yep. I'm going to start with you. The point is you, lady. And I'm going to tell you, lady. But hold on. If they don't make the list, how will I be able to talk to them and tell them?
We'll make exceptions for that.
Okay.
I feel like I have to write my list, but it's gonna be fluid. So we'll put it on Google Docs, so I can make changes as it needs to be. Because if they're nice to me, they won't have to go on that list. But if they're not nice to me, guess what? They're making the list.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for joining us on this crazy, morbid little adventure we went on. We appreciate you. We'll let you know what's going on next week. Tricia might have a baby, and I might have had a house and sold a house and bought a house. Thanks, guys, so much.
Bye.